Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Just wanted to go ahead and share a news story. Thank you for tuning in to the weekly news report where we talk about. This is our original news music. Do not, just ignore that audio watermark there. Ignore the voice you'll hear saying that it is from some other website. No, don't listen to that. So we have a news story developing, everyone. Every week we do news stories talking about how everything's going great. Nothing crazy's happening. And we are doing great in humanity right now. We just wanted to talk really quick about this story. Accused Idaho killer Brian Kohberger was very chatty and almost too friendly, according to fellow students. Now, this is the Idaho's killer suspect that allegedly killed. Well, he probably did. This is probably the guy. He probably killed these people in Idaho College dorm or something. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is, I saved this. Why, you ask? Why, you ask? If you ask, I will answer. I always wonder, how I start these episodes is, always stupid. You guys, if you're new tuning in, I don't know if somebody's tuning in, if anybody somehow tuned in and that, they hear any one of these episodes, it's always I'm jokingly starting it, I'm always doing, something weird at the beginning, and it's never, the same intro. So, somebody could just leave and have the wrong impression, They hear that music, and they hear me doing that voice, and they're like, oh, this is just a stupid, I'm just not going to listen, I don't know. It's hard to, just stick with it. That's what I'm saying. Look, if you're a new listener, just stick with it. Maybe I should just start off with that. Hey everybody, this is the A Guy in His Room podcast. If this is the first time listening, stick with it. You never know what it'll grow on. It's a grower, not a shower. I don't know. Is it? It's just not a regular podcast. I have been thinking about maybe I should do recurring segments, but I just don't. I'm just not that type of person to have a successful formula. I'm not even into the whole fake news music playing now. I did it last week, and I thought maybe I could keep doing it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm into it anymore. But here we are with another episode. Stick with it, everybody. Accused Idaho, and now why am I talking about this? You might wonder. I lost you. All right, there was a new listener listening. I lost him already. Look. I don't know what to tell you guys. You gotta stick with it. It's a grower, not a shower. It's like when you get an album from a band and you don't like it at first, but it grows on you. That's what it's like. I don't know. It's really hard to explain sarcastic humor. Even when I do stand up, it doesn't usually, people don't get me. And it's harder when I'm in New York, where it's always different people at the open mics or whatever. And it's just I don't know. It just sucks. Nobody gets that kind of humor. But if you get it, maybe you just get it, and there's no explaining that'll explain it. But anyway, I did actually save this article. Because why? Well, I talked about the first episode ever. Well, I don't know if it was the first episode, but one of the first episodes I ever did, I think, was talking about the whole quiet killers. They always describe serial killers and murderers. It's always oh, you're quiet. You better watch out for the quiet ones. every fucking killer, everyone ever, every killer, and even this one at first, they described as, oh, he was quiet. Everyone. Now, I don't even think it's true, to be honest. Like, this guy already is proven that he wasn't. Like, because I found this new article that came out. And I just don't believe all these ones that's, oh, he's quiet. I don't really think so. Like, look at the story of Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, sometimes he was, like, because he just, I think it was more that he just had no affect, you know? He had no, like, he looked dead in the eyes. He had no, like, you know, but was he quiet? I mean, he would go out to bars and try to pick up gay guys, like, all the time. He would go, like, in front of a liquor store and try to pick up a guy. He would, like, act out in high school. There's that whole my friend Dahmer thing. I mean, so it's just not, I don't think it's true a lot of times. They just kind of go with that stereotype. And I do take offense to it, okay? Well, I just do. I am triggered. Well, I was. I've always been, like, sensitive about that because of that whole stereotype about, like, oh, because I, you know, like I said in that early episode, I was one of the quiet ones. Now, meaning I was just quiet, not that I did something later. But that was the whole stereotype. And I will say, I guess I didn't get the whole I'm going to shoot people up till later in life. Not, most of the time kids would just be like, why are you so quiet? And that's it. But anyway, so I saved this because this proves that about this guy. This guy was very chatty and almost too friendly. And that makes sense because they're supposed to describe people that are like, you know, psychopath type people. A lot of them have charisma and they're con artists, so they're pretty chatty. I mean, if you're a con artist, you have to be pretty sociable to con people. So this does make sense to me. And I mean, I have met people. I don't know how many people here have met somebody who's too friendly. I know that might sound weird, but somebody who's like too, just like leave me alone, like, you know, somebody who comes off fake, which is a lot of people that aren't killers. But, you know, oh, he's very chatty, he's almost too friendly. Well, those are the people you would avoid too. Like, I would avoid them more than somebody who's quiet. Hold on a second. I didn't read this, actually. Go figure. He ran his garbage disposal at odd hours. That's annoying as fuck. Because, like, I don't even remember hearing that in college, ever. I really don't. Well, I guess I don't remember having one, though. It must have been a pretty decent room then. He lives in an apartment. Yes, this girl, I guess it's a girl. I don't know. He asked me what I was studying, where am I from. He would just make friendly small talk. And he continued to, it's a him, greet him warmly even after the murders. Nothing suspicious ever. And he this guy's roommate gave the suspect his number and suggested that they hang out together. He talked to everybody. He was a very chatty person. Not charming, but outgoing. Well, that makes sense. He seemed like a very fit person. He asked if I wanted to come to the gym. I mean, yeah, I guess I would never suspect really that about someone like that. I guess I would just think, this guy's really odd. I wish he would leave me alone. I don't know. Maybe girls have thought that about him. I don't know. Eventually, the student said he decided to avoid Koberger because he tended to talk too much. I know if I start, he won't stop, he said. Yeah, I know people like that. I think I may have talked about that too, like where somebody, you just are like, you know what, I'm just going to avoid him. Because you can't, like, once you say one word to someone like this, you just are like, all right, now I got to just, like, leave. Like, I don't know if, like, I may have talked about this, I don't know, but some people you, like, try to think of some excuse. You're like, sorry, I gotta go, got a lot of stuff to do, something. But some people literally won't give you even, like, any kind of, like, in to say something. Like, there's not even almost a breath where they stop talking, and you're like, are you on Adderall? Are you on Coke? What is this? You know, I'm sure he came off like that. Now, I wouldn't, assume those people are a serial killer, but oh wait, hold on a second. He made it. Oh, here we go. He made a different impression on a different neighbor, Angela He, who said he was an insomniac who walked around in the wee hours and at times ran his garbage disposal until 4 a.m. Oh my God, like, talk about it. This does sound like the Dahmer series on Netflix. I didn't make it through the whole thing, but where, like, the neighbor, like, smells weird shit from his apartment and hears drilling and hears all this weird shit. That's like, he's acting like a stereotype almost. She said she decided not to confront him and hoped he'd just leave her alone if her crying kids interrupted his sleep. A bartender said he was normal. Oh, he was a teacher's assistant. He was unfriendly early in the semester, and then he appeared to lose interest after the murders in teaching. Afterward, he didn't grade at all. He was not a great teacher's assistant. Wow, this is crazy. This is a crazy story. I mean, they're gonna make movies about this guy. A receptionist said he was one of the few students who kept their appointments. She said he's so nice and charming, but oh, that's weird. A couple people thought he was nice and charming, I guess. See, I hate. You don't have to paint all these killers as the same, quiet person. But like I said, I think before, like, there's a difference. You can be quiet and like, fucking weird, or you can just be like a shy. Well, I don't know. You can just be quiet. You don't have to be quiet in a serial killer. Like, there's like that's one of the acceptable stereotypes that you can stereotype that. You're allowed to stereotype a quiet person as like a fucking man. This is a crazy story too. This just in, everyone. Tennessee cops, including married female officer, fired after repeated wild sex romps. It's always a sex romp, isn't it? Well, they always say that about teachers who have sex with, like, a female teacher having sex with a student. It's a sex romp, always. But this is a news story. Tennessee cops, including married female officer, fired after repeated wild sex romps. They had a wild stuff. A small Tennessee police station has been rocked by
allegations of wild sexual misconduct. Hold on. All right, this just in, CNN newsroom. How you guys doing? Tennessee police station has been rocked by wild sex misconduct after a married female officer had steamy romps. It's hard for me to not picture the
writer of this article getting off on writing this because of the language. Yeah, they had a married female officer had steamy romps. Steamy romps. With six male officers. Including illicit on-duty liaison. Officer Maegan Hall. Now that is a weird spelling of Megan. Maegan. Look, don't name your kid something like that, because I'll have wild sex romps with six officers that are all men. Now, listen, what are you going to blame this on? Society? Porn? What do we blame this lack of What do we? I don't know how to talk like a preacher. And you'll see in the news, you'll see that there's no morals anymore. What do we blame on this society? Porn. I don't know. The Lord says in whatever Leviticus, do not have romps on. And she's so not attractive. Like, I'm sorry, just. And I know, like, that's kind of. I always criticize that too, where anytime there's like something like this, and I swear to God, it's all women anymore. Like, this is like only one of the many that I've even talked about on my podcast. Now, look, if this was a guy, he'd be Me Too'd. Well, she is fired. I mean, I'm not going to. Yeah, I'm not surprised that she just looks like she'd be like this. I don't know how to explain that. Just, she looks like. And I don't know what this is now. It might be me just. I don't know, stereotyping. But she just looked like, if someone has a certain look, if a girl is like not quite like good looking, like that good looking, just like average, or like, yeah, it's like ones that are average looking or below that are sex freaks. Now, I just feel like this is like a band girl geek mentality, like you know, the whole American Pie thing about one time at band camp. I just think band people are freaks in with sex or whatever. Like, I don't know what it is. Like I said, it's like if you're average or a little below, like not ugly, but just average, like you're more likely to be. Although, you know what? Now I'm thinking, like, did she have some kind of background where this is why? Now I'm not gonna go into that dark stuff, but like there's some I don't know. This is just. I mean, the thing is, she was married. I just think that her husband had to have some inkling. Like, I mean, maybe she kept it under wraps, like, but just somebody, like her friend or somebody, would just, like, know that she's like this. Like, there was some reputation. Like, I don't really, like, you know, just people I've heard of that, like, that maybe people I know are friends with, or they have friends that know of them. Like, you just kind of know when someone's like this or has a past like this. You just know. I just feel like he knew somewhat. Like, maybe maybe she cheated on him before, and he just was like, because he looked like, I saw some picture in a different article, and he looked like a regular guy. Then it said he was, you said he was maybe not on board with her open marriage. I just think she made that up. And I'll be honest, that's the only article besides this I read about it, and I just already have like, that's just my theory. I didn't even really read about this. Like I said though, but you know what? Yeah, maybe that's not true, because all those female teachers, like, a lot of them look attractive. So, like, and like I said, that annoys me when they're like, but she's hot though. But it's like, dude, if a female teacher is getting with a 12-year-old boy, I mean, why is that a defense? You know, like, that actually should make her more. It's more weird to me, you know? If she was somebody that didn't have attention in high school, well, I don't know. They've all had something done to them, probably, you know? There's got to be some reason psychologically. But like I said, she looks like a band person, and I just think they all are freaks. Not all, you know, maybe not all, but like a fair amount. I don't know. Just because in college there was these band people that I talked to once, and they were like, I don't remember their names. My roommate was like, kind of kicked me out to have sex once, okay? And I like told this couple, I guess they were a couple. I just randomly kind of told them what was going on. Because I guess I was surprised when it was happening. I was like, I had to tell someone. I don't even really talk to people, but I just had to. I don't know. I just told them for some reason. And they were in the marching band, like, because I was in the music program at Bloomsburg University. I don't care about doxing it. I don't give a fuck. And they told me, yeah, we've done that. Or like, oh, he said like, my roommate was like, give me like half hour, I don't know, 20 minutes. And they said something. This was, I mean, I just knew they were a couple, and they were like, yo, that's it. Like, we've been going at it for like way longer than that, and we just do it with our, like, they said something like, we just do it. We don't even ask someone to leave. And I was like, oh, this is not the person I want to complain to then. And they were band people, so that's where I might be getting this from. But I just think it's true. I mean, and look at her little smirk there. Like, I mean, it almost looks like a guy to me. I don't get it. I don't get the, I mean, I guess like just any woman with a bunch of guys around will have some kind of thing, like some kind of, I don't know. I just don't get this whole, like, yeah, okay, she's the only girl around, but then like just to have these, I don't get the group sex stuff. I just don't get it. But also, you know, obviously at work and all that too. Like, not even to mention. So, okay, obviously the tip on this came from someone's wife. There's no doubt about it. Officials began to look in the swinging personal lives of the officers when the mayor received a tip that this lady was sleeping with fellow cops and had a threesome with someone, a cop and his wife, among other claims. Oh, when asked, the cop just admitted to it, which is surprising. This cop, Patrick Magliaco, and Maegan, he told investigators that she had told him about Powell's big black dick. Another cop, a black cop, obviously. Seneca Shields. I've never heard that name, really. For a guy, anyway. Wow. This is crazy. He told investigators that this is worse than that story I read the other time about the CEO lady. Yeah, she
told him that about Powell's big black dick, and claimed she had performed a sex act on him while the pair were on the clock, the report said. Magliaco also said he had seen her and Holiday, I don't know who that is, a guy, kiss while watching football at a party. What? And said she had also kissed his own wife, Amy. Oh, after learning they had an open marriage. Interesting. The officer said Hall's husband saw the kiss and told... oh, God, this is funny.
And told officials the cuckold, meaning her husband, wasn't really on board with his wife having a threesome with the Magliacos, but she continued having a relationship anyway. Oh, man, imagine being her husband and reading this article. The cuckold. They didn't even say his name. He wasn't really on board with his wife having a threesome with the Magliacos, but continued anyway because he's a cuckold. Fuck this guy. Oh, man, dude. That's your wife. Like, fucking speak up. When questioned, Powell... Wait, who's Powell? It's a different black officer, I guess. Wait, who's... Oh, this is... Oh, there's two different... Okay. A different black officer who looks like Suge Knight or something. Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous. When questioned, Powell, the other black cop, denied he had a that's the one that she said had a big black dick. Denied he had a sexual encounter with her, but said everybody knows she has multiple partners. Well, if she said she had an open marriage, like, people are just going to go, I guess, believe her. But then, like, I'm not really on her husband put up a strong, you know, strong defense. He really put up a fight when he said I'm not really on board with this. And then everybody just did it anyway. Everybody knows she has multiple partners, he said. After being caught lying about being at the gym with Hall, Powell admitted to the tryst following Sorry, I forgot about the music again. That's not a good one. After being caught lying about being at the gym with Hall, the lady, Powell admitted to the tryst during a follow-up interview. Powell was then involved in a domestic disturbance with his wife, who he told the investigators beat the shit out of me, and that he would most likely lose his children. What a fucking idiot. For this girl? Looks like somebody's like, I mean, what are you doing? Now, see, I'm doing what everybody else does. She's not even hot enough, dude. At least do it with a hot... It's like, yeah, you shouldn't do it at all, but like, you know. This is unbelievable. He admitted under questioning to having sex with her multiple times and that he once went to Hall's house with another female and exposed his genitals. Again, another weird thing that guys have, like, that I don't get, is the whole guys just taking their dick out. I guess because he has a big one. She said he had a big black dick, quote. So maybe that's why. I don't... Oh, maybe she was like, hey, show me your
big black cock.
He eventually admitted to the affairs. Wait, who's Lugo now? I guess another lady? I don't know. Oh, wait, no, okay. This is a different male cop that she had sex with that had denied it and then admitted it. Oh my God, look at this shit. Okay, this is a different Seneca Shields. This is another guy cop. He said, I have never had sex with Maegan Hall until admitting okay, fine, she did perform oral sex on me while on duty. God almighty. Pagliacco had become concerned about her mental health and heavy drinking and driving. And once, oh my God. Once she had pulled the trigger on an empty gun pointed to her own temple so she could hear what it sounded like, and said she was suffering from mental illness. Well, that's a shock. At one point during the party, an intoxicated Hall... What the fuck, man? You know what? This is... Something like this happened with the NYPD, I think, too. Wait. Oh, yeah. There was like a Hispanic female officer. And something else like this, although she said she was like pressured to do all of it. And in this part in this article, this is really bad. One point during the party, an intoxicated Hall was being force-fed vodka by Magliacco, the guy, in a hot tub, at which time her top came off, and then other cops stopped her from drinking and helped her cover up. Well, that was good. Probably the normal cops stopped, and then the fucking... God, this is so fucked up. It was further revealed that Hall and many of the male officers had shared lewd text messages and pornographic images of themselves. Yeah, that's not sexual harassment. She did it willingly. It's just really inappropriate. Like, somebody commented, this reminds me of the same thing I saw in the military. Not saying this is the case here, but I noticed that many women seek employment in male-dominated professions because they realize they'll get a great deal of attention from men, even married ones. Wow. I mean, yeah, she was doing this on purpose. It wasn't the guys. I don't know if they're blaming them, but... Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. Yeah, somebody's like, do they still do psych assessments? I don't know if they've ever done that. Have they? I mean, can't you just lie and pass a psych eval? Like, how hard is that? Unless you can go into the history of somebody having. I don't know, man. I mean, after defund the police, at this point, they're probably desperate as fuck to hire anyone. And she's a woman, so she got. I mean, I have noticed here, like, the New York cops, there's so many women cops now. And there's like 0 white men cops. Like, I'll see like 1 out of 100 that is a white guy cop. I mean, I don't know if that was the case before, though. I mean, I don't really know. Probably not back in the day. Many years ago, somebody commented, I was married to a cop. Women and other minorities are being encouraged to join the force. A few rookies and 2 women joined. We wives of the male officers were concerned about the women. 1 gal was great. The other helped break up a marriage. Wow. I mean, that's crazy. I don't know. That's fucking ridiculous, man. Well, that kind of reminds me of something well, in that case, I mean, that was her decision. She like probably initiated most of that. I don't know if I mean, I've heard of certain women, like, not all women wait for guys to hit on them, you know? Some women are aggressive and they will come, and they're usually not the ones that you necessarily like. In fact, that's probably, yeah, they're the ones you avoid, and then they just, like my friend has had women flirty with him and he didn't want it, and it was like awkward. But I mean, you just have to be like the right type of guy. Obviously, those were not the type of guys that should be working with women if they can't. Although she was, yeah, she was. I don't know. I mean, just such a mess. Unbelievable. I mean, but like, people really shouldn't act like. I mean, plus with all the female teachers doing stuff with students. I mean, so obviously people act like women are never aggressive that way. And that's obviously not, not the case. I mean, some women are like super suggestive, aggressive, and you're just like avoiding them, And like, if I was a better looking guy, like honestly, I really feel bad for, sometimes I feel bad for guys that are real good looking, because I guarantee you they've had plenty of women, like, annoyingly, like, hit on them endlessly, like, or approach them, and then, like, maybe they get stalkers. And obviously women have that way more, but it's kind of like, no, I wanted to talk about something else, because okay, yeah, but speaking of women stuff, you have that, and then you have the opposite of, like, people being sensitive about some women use that, like, kind of use the Me Too thing as like, oh, I regretted what I did, like with the whole Aziz Ansari stuff. There's also, I don't know, I guess, like, that's one thing I have about feminism now. It doesn't really make sense to me, like, always, because, like, they'll kind of act like, oh, strong women empowered, and then also, like, kind of act like they have almost no, like, control what they do, almost like they can't be. It's like, oh, we want oh, like, yeah, empowering women, and like, yeah, we're like strong. We should all be superheroes. We should have like Captain Marvel everywhere. But then also, oh, why didn't you? People should have known that I was uncomfortable when X guy said this. Like, there's this attitude of like, that you have to, like, kind of be an ally and like know almost what someone is made uncomfortable by, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you have to speak up, or it's like the whole silence is violence thing. Like, oh, you have to like call out bad behavior. So like if somebody's making someone uncomfortable, which how do you know that, you know? Um but it's just like the opposite attitude that I don't know, it's just so confusing. Like it doesn't make sense. And I was watching this so there's this lady that I guess is a college professor and almost got canceled, like almost got kicked out of her position before COVID, but I guess didn't. And I didn't hear of her before. I forget how I heard of her actually. Oh, it's just talking about. I guess she talked somewhere about trans issues and kind of what Douglas Murray said about societies becoming more like gender fluid or like I keep forgetting what that word is. Whether you're like both feminine and male at the same time, like David Bowie did it. Oh, androgynous. Like society's becoming like that, where they're like, oh, we're fluid now, and like she was talking about that. Like I guess that she studied that societies when they start to go downhill and they're about to collapse, like us, like the world right now. Like that's when they start to get like, oh, who cares about gender? Like male and female, they're same. Let's and that ironically, like it makes us less attracted to each other and like makes like it's when society is about to collapse. I mean, look, this is what she said. I didn't do the research. I just think it's an interesting point that Douglas Murray brought up to Joe Rogan before too. And I don't know if he got it from her, but anyway, she was talking about the Harvey Weinstein stuff and how and you know, I don't it's like I see what she's saying like as far as the attitude now has changed after Me Too. Like, I just thought it was like interesting with that. It's like, you know, obviously, like people kind of overreact about victim shaming. They're like, oh, you're victim shaming if you just say something like, oh, why did you still, you know, uh, like I talked about before, the Gavin Newsom's wife. The whole reason I thought that was weird, like his wife still was like friendly with him and asked him for business advice after he like he did that assault to her. So I mean that's the part that bothers me. Like it's not that it's obviously like no one's defending him for doing that. It's obviously horrible that he did it, but I'm just confused by and she says it in this video I watched about put your career like all these people are putting their careers over their own dignity. Like, oh, like that was horrible, but who's gonna believe me? But it's really like they're just saying the who's gonna believe me because it's like, yeah, Harvey does that, and everybody kind of knows that he does that, so I'm just not gonna say anything, cause my career, like that's why. And Kurt Metzger talked about that too before in his podcast. Like so you're okay with it as long as you like anything from our career. Like it is horrible. He's a monster, but like I'm gonna wait only until Me Too happens and it's trendy to call someone out. It's like no, just like so that does bother me. Like obviously he's a bad person, but like the fact that you like so many people just didn't like they just went along. Not like they liked it, but just well, my career. Like so everybody doing that means it's not gonna get fixed. I mean, and then to just like, yeah, it's good that he's brought down eventually, but like at the time you should have. It's just weird, you know. But anyway, here's the clip of her. I don't really know how to say her name. It would be Camille Paglia.
This is it's a hysterical, pathological projection that reality is nothing but sexual violence, okay, and abortion, okay. And look at the the incredible abundance of material in the history of culture, okay, in literature and art and everything else. There's a complete absence of sexual psychology now because Freud was thrown out the window, okay. So they can't understand anything, and therefore you get a case like this, the Harvey Weinstein business, okay. And what really leaps out from the Harvey Weinstein stories, okay, is what an infantile personality Harvey Weinstein is, okay? I mean, we're not talking, I mean, this is not normal sexual assault, okay? When a big 6-foot man, okay, overweight man, okay, is saying to women, watch me shower, okay? Okay, watch me shower, okay? All right, we're talking here, okay, about, I mean, in the way the women are responding, I mean, if you're overpowered, that is an outrage, okay? If you're touched, it's an outrage, all right? But the way the women are responding, okay, to respond with go back at like insult and laughter, and and so on. I mean, there are ways to respond to these things, okay? For example, what just emerged like maybe 2 days ago, okay, was the story. It was I believe it was Angie Everhart, okay, who now told the story of being on a yacht off Cannes, okay, at the Cannes Film Festival, and the yacht is filled with people, okay. She takes a nap. She wakes up. There's Harvey Weinstein standing there, okay, masturbating in the doorway and so on, right? And she's horrified, okay, well, understandably so. It's like unbelievably gross. He's blocking the door, right? Then she says, well, I told people about it afterward at dinner, and they said, oh, that's just Harvey, okay? Now, it's an outrage that was accepted all these years. I'm so glad, that that these Hollywood hypocrites are finally being exposed, okay, for what they are, and not dealing with this problem long ago. But nevertheless, she's on a yacht off Cannes. There are probably like 15 people, within 10 feet, drinking martinis on the deck, okay? She has nothing to say. A guy enters your room, you're taking a nap. I mean, I'm Italian. I would have a lot to say, okay? I would have a lot to say, okay, and possibly that guy wouldn't get out of there, okay, without an injured member, okay? All right, okay? But you see, too many of these women, okay, are putting career, okay, and career success, okay, over their own dignity as human beings, okay? I take the Amazon position, okay, all right? That my self-respect and dignity as a human being is more important than any career advantage, okay? And that has always been my position, okay? I was rude about it, okay, as an Amazon feminist, okay, early on, okay, the very start of feminism, okay? Any man did anything that I regard as condescending to me, okay, put an arm around me, is going through a door. I mean, I created a scene at the Stratford Shakespeare Festival, okay, so I got get your arm off me, okay, like that. I mean, so that's my attitude, okay? Women have got to take it to the men, okay, all right? Not all cases, okay, are going to work. Okay? In some cases, you're really going to be, attacked, okay, by a psychopath, okay, and overwhelmed. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the everyday harassment, okay? Too many women are trained in the bourgeois style now, the middle class style, okay, which is to smile, okay, and try to please, okay? Someone does something that makes you uncomfortable, okay, all right? Speak up then. Embarrass the man, okay? Don't be afraid, okay, to create a scene, okay? This is the Italian thing is creating scenes, okay, and being confrontational, okay? How dare you? You're saying, I mean, I don't care what the situation is, okay? All right. So you stand up for yourself. This is what I said, okay? All right. Now again, this is not going to cover all cases.
Yeah, I mean, this was in a talk she gave at Lafayette College. I mean, I was like living in Philly, probably around this time, like 2000. Well, maybe not. But I don't know. I just wish I could have seen some of these lectures. So it's like, because it shows the crowd in this video. There's like 20. It's all men, and it's like 10 people. Because she was like probably either not promoted or just like, oh, don't go see her, like to the women, which they should have been the ones in the audience. I mean, if it's like, like I forget where I saw, like the first clip I randomly saw for talking about the trans stuff. you know. And like then I looked her up, and it's like, oh, she's a what's that called? Like, it's so ridiculous. She's like a, like a Milo Yiannopoulos type, like she did purposely offend, like that's, and to me this really wasn't I mean, yeah, it's controversial to say anything about Weinstein that isn't like I mean, but they're like she's clearly saying he's a monster, like just like a different take that like, yeah, some people like they don't like the whole like, look, you have to say something then or it doesn't count. Like I don't think she's saying it doesn't count. Cuz like I probably wouldn't like be able to say it in the moment. Like I'd be shocked too. Like I understand how that, but I did read that story about Angie Everhart or whatever. Who I haven't seen in that many movies. I don't know like why, but maybe she decided to not act that much after that. I don't know, but like I feel like she should have. Like yes, like she does have a point there where they're like, there's like what, only a small group on a yacht. That would be stuck on a yacht too. Um, I don't know. It's just to not. I don't know. Like, I don't think it's just that lady Angie, whatever. Like, I think the whole culture was probably don't make a stink about this. Like, and then she got wrapped up in it. Maybe she like I'll give it to her like this much. Like maybe she regrets not calling him out or doing something. But it is weird we don't have a culture that's telling women like, I mean, I know it's shocking. You don't expect that to happen. A guy, you wake up and you see that blocking the door thing. Is that another thing guys do? Like to block doors? Like I know they said that about Louis too. And I just don't, why would you block the fucking? Oh, well maybe he doesn't want people to see that he's doing it, not leave her. So there's probably two things. He doesn't want people to see that he's doing that. Like, what did he? He went into her room when she was sleeping. I don't get it at all. I just don't get the whole thing. But I just think she has a point here. There's a culture of like, where we don't teach people to call it out. Instead of like, like she talks about, because I looked her up. Oh, she was this feminist, like early one where they kind of call things out. She's right. There's a different attitude now where it's like, oh, you can go ahead and not call it out and then write a blog later or something. I mean, that's just a weird like thing to teach people to not. I mean, imagine, because that's the most embarrassing thing. Like you see with, I realized after COVID, like how big social shaming is. I mean, that is the number one thing to get. If you want to get someone to not do something, just shame them socially. Like, all you have to do is call them an anti-vaxxer or an anti-masker, and they just, people just go along with whatever it is. Like, you can be a Harvey Weinstein and just get used to people not, And I remember in that article or whatever I read about that situation, she was like, he said something after like, kind of insinuating don't say something about this, like, but like why, I don't know what she did. Maybe she did something where people don't know about it, but I just don't get I just think it's not just her, it's just a whole mentality where you just don't call someone out, you don't yell. Now, I get that she was probably in shock during that. She just woke up and saw that. I'd be like, what? But then, like, to, like, go to people, everyone else on the yacht saying he just does that. And then, I don't know. It just, there's something missing there to me. Like, I just think she's right about that attitude about don't say anything, but guys should just know. That's another thing with me too that I don't understand. Like, I mean, I get that you can usually tell if somebody's uncomfortable, like, but then that in every case, like with Aziz Ansari, there was a whole like, oh, he should have just known what she was thinking. And I do think she has a point. I do think that should be taught more. Just to like yell. Imagine just yelling at a guy like she just described, somebody putting an arm around her and she said, "Get your arm off me." That would just humiliate someone. I mean, like that's all you have to do. And they'll stop probably unless they're like if you're in public especially. I mean, yeah, like she said, she was on a small I don't know, man. I wonder who the Angie lady told. Like, was it one person? Was it like I went to a few people and they said this is what he does, don't say anything? Did they say don't say anything? There's just a lot of weird shit in that, but that's just one situation. I mean, but yeah, she's right. Like a lot of those stories were like, yeah, he asked me to massage him and then he was naked. And a lot of those, like, if it was just those, I don't think he would be really canceled fully, you know? Well, I don't know, maybe. But yeah, she's right. He's like a little baby. He doesn't know how to. I don't know if he doesn't know how to approach women or he just doesn't care. But that whole like there was this audio tape of him asking this lady, "Hey, just 5 minutes. Can I just have 5 minutes in my hotel room with you?" Like, so I guess he was gonna just whip it out. This weird, not really a penis thing, and he really sounds like a little like baby. He sounds like pathetic, you know. And so she's right. I think if girls would have just humiliated him, it really like maybe some did though. But anyway, one reason I wanted to play this is because, well, I don't know, I never heard of her, and I want to get that out there. People hear. I mean, I hope she, I don't know, does more stuff. But I just I listened to this whole talk she gave. It was like 3 hours long. And she talks about gender in the past and sculptures and stuff. And it's not even controversial. It's really not. It's just like she still views like that biological sex is a real thing, you know? She doesn't think you need to transition and get surgery. You know what's funny is too, she says she is transgender, but she just doesn't identify as being a man, you know? And she said something like, "Why do you have to pick the other side?" It's like when people, there's this whole thing called walk away where people left the Democrats. Like, oh, I'm not a liberal anymore. But a lot of them joined the conservatives, and I just don't really get that. Like, oh, why do I have to join the other side just because, you know? But, yeah, I guess this reminded me of, like, I had some professors in college, and this was actually before, I went to a community college before, like, a 4-year one. And it's kind of weird because at the community one, there was a few professors like this where they just had opinions that weren't exactly like always totally PC, you know, like just sort of like different opinions, like, and it's just so sad that now you can't have that. I can't even imagine. I mean, maybe some that are established and tenured, but like you can't even have somebody like this. Like, what a shame. I mean, I guess she wasn't kicked out of her university, but she was all tried to get kicked out. It's just like, I don't know, what a shame where she's called like a radical provocateur or whatever. And to me, she's just kind of saying, "Oh, you need to have some fight in you." But like, it's unbelievable. I mean, this was like what the left used to be, and now it's just all like all about identity and like all about, oh, you can't even like criticize. It's just like so bland, you know? It's just like all the same opinion, and like her and other people, like, you know, or the like you have to have somebody that's slightly controversial to make any kind of change in the world. But like now we can't, you know? Like now they're all canceled. Look at Dave Chappelle. Anybody that's kind of edgy now is just called like a Nazi, even if they're like the left. So like how are you going to have any kind of change happen? Like, nobody that makes a change is the mainstream, you know? Like, what do you think? Like, Jimmy Kimmel is going to be the next trailblazer? Or like Stephen Colbert? Like all these people that are just lining up with the mainstream, whatever the current news is, like, they're not going to go down in history as anything. Nobody's going to give a fuck about Trevor Noah, like, 10 years from now. Nobody's going to go, dude, Trevor Noah's one thing he did. I mean, nobody, people look back and they see, like, the best comedians are the ones that are edgy. George Carlin, Richard Pryor, like, I mean, imagine, like, oh, Trevor Noah, dude, he's going to go down in history, like, as Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert's skit on how you should wear a mask or whatever is going to go down in history as, like, trailblazing. I mean, all this shit now is just bland bullshit. It's unbelievable. I mean, everything, even when feminism was first invented, it was controversial. Now it's like you have to be one. Like, so, like, how is that doing anything, I mean, look, like, I'm just, like, fired up about this. I am just fired up. Okay, people? Okay, people? Yeah, so guess what? You're gonna just kind of fucking deal with my shit, dude. You're gonna have to deal with my soapbox. Yeah, so, anyway, I was just talking about, with my friend, just to get on a lighter subject, I guess, just like how kind of homoerotic sports can be, like, and, to me, like, anything that's really masculine, like, I know they say, well, I'm not saying these are toxic, like, there is a lot of, I mean, even that lady that I was just playing, like, she talks about how men are needed in society, like, it's not bad to be masculine, but then there is, like, I don't think it's toxic, I just think a lot of the stuff like, when there's a lot of guys that, like, when I was at university, when I when I went to university, there was, like, some blokes who were just very, they acted very masculine, but some of those guys that act over the top like a jock, like, they might be gay to me. Like a lot of the frat stuff, all the hazing, I had some bit about it before, about frat guys basically wanting a boyfriend at the end of the day, At the end of the day, I'm just gay, Now, a lot of them, like, there was there was, like, guys in the dorm that would just, like, wrestle, and you just hear them wrestling, and you'd be like, this is, like, are they gay? Like, what? Some of the frat stuff, slapping each other with a towel on the ass in the shower, it gets homoerotic. And, like, I was, some of the football stuff, wrestling. Like, I remember in, in high school, like, we'd have these assemblies at the end of the year or something that would be like, oh, here's all the team footage, like a compilation of the football team, and then the wrestling. For some reason, they'd play the wrestling, like, for a while. They played like a 10-minute montage of the guys wrestling. And a lot of it, like, does look like you're, like, about to have sex with a guy. I mean, I know when you're doing the wrestling, it's not gay. Like, you're just thinking about winning or do whatever. I mean, I'm not saying you're actually, like, I'm not literally saying that, but it just looks weird if you're just this compilation of, like, a 15-minute long compilation. And because it was, like, awkward, it would get laughs, like, in this assembly. Like, it would just be playing these clips of just, like, maybe just practice, too, of these guys wrestling, just putting each other in holds for, like, a while near their groin. It's just like, who's filming this? Who's showing, like, and I'm not saying the kids are the gay homoerotic ones. It's more like whoever put this video together. And, there's a lot of that going on. And I was just wondering about these football positions. Some of the football stuff, look, your football, you have your tight end. And then you have somebody who's the wide receiver, if you get me. A lot of these are normal, left tackle, right tackle, and then, you'll tackle a guy, and then you'll put it in his tight end, and then he'll wide receive your, load, and then you might want to have somebody who's like the holder, and then hold it, and then he's gonna punt it. You know what I mean? And then you have the punt receiver, if you get me. And then you have the swallower. I mean yeah, it would be funny to just have new positions that are like, But yeah, that's the football positions, guys. Kind of ironic that Aaron Hernandez was probably gay. Remember, he had that jail boyfriend, which they say that they do act like anytime you go to jail, you're just then gay. You just go gay. Like, I never understood that, really. I know there's only guys there, and after a while, you'd be like I always wonder that. What is the time? How long are you in prison before you go gay? Like, you're just like, I'll fuck somebody. I just feel like those guys were already kind of gay. Like, how long are you in prison? Like, everybody's like, as soon as you get in prison, you have to pick a fight, or you'll get like ass fucked or whatever. You'll get raped. Now, why is it right away? Like, the guy's doing that to guys. Who's the guy assaulting the men? Who's the guy doing the raping? Now, is that somebody that has been in for a while, or is that somebody that goes right in jail and he's right away like, time to go gay and fuck guys? Guess who's? I'm gonna have to Google that now. Somebody said Ben Carson. Oh, that's. Do prisons make people gay? Somebody asked in 2015. Ben Carson apparently said, prisons prove being gay is a choice, and he had to apologize. But I mean, seriously, like, somebody answer that. Straight to gay in prison. That's probably. All right, guys, everybody. We're here with a little quiz question. Guys, go ahead and vote on, go ahead and text straight to gay, hashtag straight to gay. Go ahead and answer that on Twitter. How long do you think it takes to turn gay in prison? Somebody asked on this site, quizsilo.com, anonymous says in April 2021, why do people turn gay when they go to prison? I know homosexuality is inborn and I believe it, but I just want to iron out counter arguments. Why is it that people turn gay when they go to prison? How do people turn gay if turning gay defies human nature? Kevin, somebody answered, you were still thinking about the eye color example in grade 7 science class. You don't just inherit a gay gene from a parent. You could inherit genes that promote gayness. Okay. He didn't answer the question. Somebody else, Neil, answered, simple, they don't. You're thinking of it as a binary, 0 or 1, yes or no. In reality, many, I think most, but that seems to start a lot of arguments, people have at least some inclination or proclivity toward real or fantasized social behavior that don't fit neatly into a binary model. In that guy's opinion, I guess. Now, I think that's kind of true, I guess. But to me, I feel like I've always thought of it as if you're in there for a while, you eventually might think about it. But I don't know. There's a few factors for me. Number one is how long does someone wait? If they don't wait at all, like right away they want to find a partner, then they were kind of gay or bisexual or whatever it is. Or like, okay, somebody's in there a while and like what type of guy, like a feminine type of guy. I mean, I still don't. Look, if you're in there for life, that's one thing. Somebody argues here, not turn gay, but have homosexual sex. Okay, I mean, that's another thing. Like, those Reddit things I've read before, where guys go, "I'm not gay, but I've had gay sex." It's like, dude, like, come on. You're at least on the Kinsey scale toward gay, you know? Like, you have to. Everybody says, "Oh, we're fluid now," okay, but they also want to define everything in like really niche categories, like. I'm a trans and I'm this gender. Like they all want to pick labels. Like that's all identity politics is about. So like, to me, that means you're pro-binary. You're pro-categorizing stuff, which like, yeah, that used to be like that lady is an old feminist. And that's when people were more free. Like during the hippies, like, you know, people criticize hippies, but at least they were more about freedom. And now it's like, back then they were like, we don't like labels, man. We're hippies. We don't like, stop putting everything in a box, man. Now it's like, put everything in a label. I want to be called this so I can get social media points. I can get Facebook likes. I want to have a new gender identity. And I really do think a lot of young people are just doing that because people do that. Because that's what people do. It's social, like I said, social shaming and social approval, like to me now, is number one. That's why everybody says their number one fear is public speaking. It's social shaming. Wow. Look at somebody's answer here. This is a two-part answer. Ever heard the phrase any port in a storm? Wow. And number two, in prison, it's not considered gay unless you are not on top. And that's what that lady talked about in like Greek society, or I forget if it was that or Egyptian, where like being gay wasn't really a thing unless you were on bottom. So like they didn't call it like, oh, you're gay. They just were like, we just have sex, but if it's with a guy and you're on bottom, that's like a shaming thing. I mean, look, like I don't know. I just think it depends on. I mean, I don't. Like any port in a storm. I don't know, dude. I just don't buy that, because that is like what they used to think. Like, again, like, oh, it's not gay to have gay sex, but also everyone wants a label now. I'm trans, I'm non-binary. None of it makes any sense anymore. Like, if you're going to say, like, we're not going to label it, then stick with that. Don't say, okay, but I'm this specific gender, but there's no non-binary. But I'm against the gender binary, but also I'm storm gender. Like, when there's a storm out, I might be female. If there's like a loud thunderstorm, I feel more masculine that time. So like then I'll be like on top, you know. Any port in the storm is literally when there's a storm. I'm any port in the storm gender. So that means like literally when it's thunderstorming, I'll just like let anybody go in any hole I have. I just go any port in Any port in a storm, guys. Go ahead. My holes are open.
Oh, it's thundering out, guys. The holes are open for the taking. Port in a storm time.
And that's what that lady cop said to all the police officers. She said,
Any port in a storm with me.
she had a southern accent. She was like,
I just call myself any port in a storm, girl. Like, you just go ahead and stick it in my ports. I view myself as like a USB charger. You just go ahead and stick in our USB cords. And I have like multiple, I basically like one of those surge protectors with all those different outlet like plugins. That's kind of how I view myself. Any point in a storm, girl. Any chance I get to stick something in something, it's going in, alright?
that's like Tiger King, all those guys. Like, there was like more than one guy. That was one thing about that documentary that was weird. Like, there was a couple guys where I'm not gay, but I just got with a Joe Exotic or wherever. Like, what? He's fucking ugly, first of all. If you were gonna go gay, like with that guy, I mean, it's so weird. Oh, because one of the guys like did drugs, like, and that was insinuated that was why. That's probably part of it, but any port in a storm, guys. Life is a long time for no port. Yeah, if you're in prison for life, I mean, at some point, you become any port in a storm. I'm the jack of all trades, they call me, because I jack off anybody who has a trade, anybody who has an occupation. They give me some kind of benefit in prison, so I'm jack of all trades, jack off all trades, you know. Listen, you don't turn gay from doing gay sex, but also please label me for social media points. Also, please give me social media likes when I come out as poly, amba, gender, dexterous. Also, I'm cat gender. Also, I'm trans, quasi-trans. I'm not quite trans yet. I'm just kind of transitioning into it. I'm like part-time trans. Man, I gotta be honest. If girl has that voice that I just did, I don't know if I'd be able to hear that and still be excited. You know what I mean? Like,
How y'all doing? Go ahead and stick it in me. I'm porting a storm. Porting a storm. Go ahead. Hey, how y'all doing? Alright, go ahead. Any porting a storm, girl. Yeah.
I don't know. Never mind. I'm gonna back out of this brothel. Like seriously, if you're a guy listening, like, and you hear that voice, like, would you be able to?
Yeehaw! Let's go. Go ahead, stick it down there.
Stick it down there. Go ahead. Just give me some money. Give me some McDonald's, and I'm good to go. Give me some money for some chew. I don't know. I guess that's how they talk way down south, so everybody talks like that. I'd be like, shut the fuck up, please. I don't know. Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't know. Do you turn gay just from doing? I think if it gets you off, but if you're being, like, assaulted, I wouldn't say you turn gay, you know? I mean, it's really weird, I'll be honest. Like, I don't think you can go like those people that are, oh, I'm straight now. It's like, no, you're not. I don't know. I mean, it's like I'm against the whole, like, I need to be categorized, but I also think you have to say at least something. Oh, you can't say you're totally, like, 100% straight, like, no question, if you go into prison and right away you're looking for someone to have sex with. Well, better have sex soon. Gotta get my rocks off. It's been 1 hour. Got any takers? Hey guys, I'm new in prison. How are you guys doing? Oh man, I'm horny. Has anybody been in here a while and desperate? You've been in here like 30 minutes, dude. What are you talking about? I know, but just like to relax, I just need to relax. You know what I mean? I just need to relax. Got any takers? Any port in a storm? It's like one of those phrases people use as an excuse. Look, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Any port in a storm? Might as well. Could be worse. Anyway, so don't get in prison, guys, because there's somebody that just got in and he's itching for something. Come on, Warden. I've been in here a little. I got an itch for something. I need to get relief. Got any rub and tug places here? Come on. We're in prison. We're in prison. What if somebody got arrested on purpose to do gay stuff? Well, I was in jail. I was in jail. Come on, hon. I was in jail. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I was in prison, I just fucking sucked guys off, dude. Look, this is a pro. This is not anti-gay, I'm just saying, like, do whatever you want.
I'm not an anti-gay. If you want to do that, go ahead. Get arrested on purpose to suck guys off and act like it was because you were in prison, go ahead. Don't not do it on account of me. Wrong, guys. You know, any more in the storm.